The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed are those of the advertiser and do not necessarily represent those of WOAI.
I'm proud of the house we built. It's stronger than big stones and steel. It's not replacing the house and hero. One place will come and go, but love never will. Oh, I'm proud of the house we built.
Welcome to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. I'm Keith Maley along with Morgan.
Hello, everybody.
That's that one.
Yes, hello, everybody.
And we are glad to be with you this Saturday. We're going to be taking your calls live at 737-1200 or 1-800-383-WOAI. Again, that local number 737-1200. If you have any questions about remodeling or construction in general, that's what we've been doing for a very long time. I started off in construction in the 70s, believe it or not, before a lot of you listening were even born. I never thought I'd say that, but I do. And yeah, I started off in multifamily, went into custom homes, and then eventually into remodeling. And it's been a very interesting business to be in, and I've had a passion for it since I was very young, even before I finished high school. So been doing it a long time. Since I was 21, we've had this business going, so that's since 1984. And it's the same year I got married to my beautiful wife. And so we are going to be talking today. The subject that we've chosen to speak on has to do with getting good advice. And you really do need good advice. The thing that prompted it was this week was seeing people who did not get advice at all or got wrong advice. And so we're gonna explore some things that perhaps can help you, keep you from making a mistake. That's one of our big goals here, is to keep you from making a mistake. And if you'd like to ask something specific that I'm not covering, you can give us a call at 737-1200. So we're going to start off with our client testimonial of the week. You want to read Virginia Johnson's?
Yes, she posted on Angie's list, and this was really nice. She said, they did an outstanding job. It was a very extensive job that took about a month. Great, amazing, marvelous, superb, magnificent. I'm going to have them do more work for me in the future.
You didn't just make that up, right?
No.
Where'd you get it?
Angie's list.
Yeah, so it is. She's really cool, and I will say that she's not the easiest person to work for, but she'll laugh if she hears me saying that because she knows it's true, and so she holds, she makes sure that she watches and doesn't give you a big project at the beginning. She makes sure that you're going to do good before she gives you another one. And we've done a couple of projects for her already, but that last one we did was really nice size. It was a beautiful wood patio cover and screened in patio, and so it was really nice. Now we had some interesting challenges on that, like making sure that her concrete foundation that was not poured for support, that we actually reinforced it underneath so that it could handle a big roof system. So she's got a beautiful built-in patio and closed-in patio. But we're going to talk a little bit about some advice, some of the things I've seen, and a lot of times this show is just a reaction to what I see in the business out every day. I'm like last week I went in 11 homes, visited 11 different clients, potential clients last week, not to mention the projects that we already have going. So I apologize because I've got the allergies and I'm going to be clearing my throat a little bit, try to hope to not disturb you too much. But one of the things that I saw, I'll just start off with paint and texture. I see a lot of painters using glossy paint, and a lot of times paint stores will recommend their very best, and it's typically their most expensive paint, and their most expensive paint in the most expensive finish is actually a gloss or a semi-gloss at least. And so when folks actually use that, every imperfection is going to show. And so people don't realize they have so many imperfections in their walls sometimes, but when you put that gloss paint on there, it really, really shows everything. And it's just really something that can be avoided. The paints today are so well made that you can use a flat. At least an eggshell finish is the most I would recommend for walls, and for ceilings I'd never recommend over a flat. But even on walls, the flats today are so durable and washable that you're going to have like perfectly straight walls if you can get them with a flat paint on them. But too often people are putting a glossy paint and everything shows. The way the light hits it after the gloss goes on really, really makes a difference. Even on floors, you know, if you have glossy floors, you see every fingerprint or every footprint or every piece of dust, every dog hair or whatever, every scratch.
Yeah, so why wouldn't it be the same on a wall?
It's even worse on walls as far as showing straightness, you know, flatness or the lack thereof. So don't follow the advice of a paint store or a paint guy that mixes paint, or even a painter that says, you know, this is the best paint. It is the best paint. There's no doubt about it that gloss paint is really good. I wouldn't deny that it's the best, or I wouldn't say it's what you need though. What you need is a very good paint in their best brands perhaps, but don't go with the gloss. Go with a flat or an eggshell. If it's on the walls, go with no more than an eggshell. And if it's ceilings, don't go anything more than a flat. You will really appreciate how beautiful your home's. And by the way, this is the latest look. It is much greater.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, gloss is dated.
Mhm.
Gloss is really dated. We do have a caller, or I guess he went away, Russell, right? I guess that caller went away. Yeah, that looks like, oh, there he is. On caller one, Mr. Martinez, if he's there. He's calling in now. Just hang on, he's gonna put him on the line.
But the paint is like, if you're gonna take pictures of your house, anything, I don't like glossy.
No, it doesn't. It's hard on you, right? to
Yeah.
take photos. It gets a glare, and it's not good on your eyes either for seeing light at its best.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't like reflection in our eyes. We like even light surfaces reflection, very even reflection. So you make a good point. That's even better. Let's go to James. Russell, if you could turn on James there, we'll go ahead and take your call. How you doing, James? How can I help you?
I've got a Ray Ellison home built like in 1975, right around that area. Having some foundation problems, but it hasn't moved any in the last 15 years. And the separation is only like maybe about a ½ inch, and the drop is maybe about a quarter to a ½ inch. Is there anything that I could do or not do, or is foundation repair the only solution?
So where's the ½ inch gap showing up at, James?
Under the carpet.
So you've lifted the carpet up and you actually see a ½ inch gap?
I haven't lifted it up, no, but I can feel it.
Okay. Well, that's very significant. I mean, I would have the foundation looked at if it were that. I mean, that's a wide gap. Maybe it just feels like a ½ inch, but it's less. But either way, it's probably pretty significant, so I'm not going to doubt it. The thing I would look at is the height of the slab. That is the most important thing. If you're only falling down a quarter of an inch or even a ½ an inch overall, like if you take all the measurements and then you see that you've got a ½ inch drop in your house from one to the other, or from the high point to the low point, then you really don't have to have that changed if it's not changing and you see that it's staying pretty stable. That would be recommended by most of the foundation people that I've seen. They do not recommend, you know, if it's stable and it's not great, just leave it. But you do need to take care of that gap. That gap can be filled in, you know, with a flexible sealant. And then if you're putting a tile over it or something like that later, you can actually bridge it with different materials. Something that treats that so that you can put other types of material over it and will allow for a little bit of movement. And especially tile is the most important. Are you gonna just want to get the sheetrock done and the painting and then maybe do some floors later?
Yeah, well, what I want to do is I want to put a new sliding back door, and I want to see if taking out the carpet and putting some kind of vinyl in there, you know, these new PVC or Cali floor or whatever that is, something like that in there. And but I talked to a floor guy once. He told me he could level that out and, you know, make it level.
Yes, so the LVP floors, I think is what you're referring to, those are really good, and they can take a lot more movement without it, but you still might have to put what's called an anti-fracture membrane on there to allow for that movement, and so, but yeah, it can all be done, and it's really, really, you know, something you need to do. You can float the floor a little bit out, but it's important that the type of material going on, like an LVP, be thick enough to be able to bridge that, so that even if it shrinks a little bit, even if it goes down some, that your whatever materials on top will span that area. Now, tile is probably the least likely to span it without, you know, if it truly is a half an inch, it's going to be a problem for tile. But there are some things you can do. But if you're going to go with LVP, you're going to be a lot better off. So I think you've got a good plan. I would get the foundation checked just to make sure. There's not going to be a charge in getting someone to do that for you, to say that you're safe to go ahead and do your remodeling. I have a guy I'd recommend to you. It's AVCO, AVCO, Larry Villarreal, and he, yeah, AVCO. Let me see if I've got that number here. If you'll just hang on a second, I'll give you his number. If I can find my contacts, there it is. And yeah, that's Larry, and their work number is 210-737-3827, and he'll give you a real honest assessment and tell you whether you should do anything, and he won't tell you to do more than you need. You can trust him.
Let me tell you this. I did get I had some plumbing separation, probably about, well, I mean, I'm sure it happened a long time ago, but they just repaired it about 5 years ago underneath the slab. They tunneled under the house, and that's when we kind of, you know, they said, well, the foundation. So they had an engineer come out and do all that surveying on the slab. So would that survey still be good?
Right.
Like I said, I haven't noticed any other movement since then.
Well, yeah, that might be good. And, you know, like I said, if you want to give him a call and have him assess it for you with that information, he should be able to give you a really good overall assessment. It's difficult to say, you know, not knowing all the details of it, but there's a very good chance that will really, really help. And you might just talk to him over the phone. Call him and ask him over the phone. He might tell you what you need to know just from right there.
Okay. So do you think that putting in the new sliding glass door would be the last thing, or can I go ahead and get that done? Because the one I got in there looks kind of foggy, and, you know, it's got the gas in between there. The one pane's already busted, and it just doesn't look very,
Yeah, it doesn't look very attractive. So yeah, I mean, in most cases you can go ahead and do a door. A patio door is not going to be an issue, especially if you know it's not moving that much. You're probably safe to go ahead and schedule it unless you've got something extreme going on. Those have a lot of flex in them anyway, so you're probably okay with that. But thank you for calling the show, and I hope you let me know how it turns out. And if you want that door or you need anything else done, you give us a call at 680-5626, and we'll be glad to help you out. Or go to kmbuilders.com and you can set up an appointment there.
Okay, thank you much.
Have a great day. And we're going to go ahead and take a break. And before we do that, I want to mention someone that has just really treated us right and all of our listeners. And that's Billy's Western Wear, BillysWesternWear.com. They're at 1490 South Main Street on Bernie. So can't wait to get my new Luke Casey's in. They're horn-backed alligator. So y'all go ahead and give them a call, and then we'll be right back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And now get your first month supply for just $5 at 4hims.com/Chris. Hims connects you with real doctors online who can prescribe the medication.
The
And the pharmacy sends it right to your
Need
door.
advice?
So easy. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to 4hims.com/Chris. That's 4hims.com/Chris. Prescription
You said
drugs are
needed furniture collections, Hill Country, Tuscan, and upscale Western furniture, exclusive to Hill Country Interiors. Incredible savings of to 60% off throughout the store. Come see us at Hill Anniversary Sale, located on Loop 1604 between Hebner and Blanco Road.
There's a reason that electronic stores put TVs next to each other, because when you compare side by side, it makes it very evident. Style in one store and another ring style in another store, you don't get confidence that you're getting the right thing.
But then he found Diamonds Direct.
The selection here is just like anywhere else.
Diamonds Direct was the only place that let Kevin see
Large selection to choose from. You can put them all in a row and say, oh, without a doubt, this is where I want to be.
So, like buying a TV, he could compare the features and characteristics and make a decision that was just right for him.
At that point, it's your own budget. How much do you want to spend, and really, truly, what is important to you? We were able to go up in physical size and down in color, and it really gave us a wow factor that we're looking for.
Diamonds Direct, with a selection big enough to empower you to find that wow factor you're looking for. At the shops at La Cantera across from Nordstrom.
Carrie Lockie here, and during Toyota's Ready, Set, Go sales event at Toyota of Bernie, buy a 2018 Camry, just $16,988. $16,988. Save on over 100 Camrys right now at Toyota of Bernie. $16,988 buys a 2018 Camry, only $16,988. Log on to toyotabernie.com for all the details. They're at I-10, exit 543 in Bernie. Give them a call today at 870-1800. Certified pre-owned, excludes a $150 dock fee.
Here's an idea. Replace your lawn with hardscape that looks amazing and never needs to be watered. Stones, decomposed granite, and shadow rock. Visit Stone and Soil Depot and see great display ideas that'll make you think of this. Stone and Soil Depot in Bernie on I-10, Boulevard off 281, 1604 West, and Highway 83 in Dunn. StoneandSoilDepot.com.
Looking for a great job in San Antonio? Holt Cat is hiring heavy equipment, shop, field undercarriage, and lube technicians and welders for Holt divisions of machine, power systems, and truck. Bring your resume to the career fair on Saturday, March 30th at the main headquarters building, 5665 Southeast Loop 410, San Antonio, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Holt Cat is an equal opportunity employer. For a list of available jobs, visit holtcat.com/careers.
What is a buy bid? Is it a bid to buy? Go to givemethevin.com and I'll give you an immediate buy bid on your car. And if I don't beat a CarMax offer, I'll send you a check for $100.
Sell off your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hi, I'm Bill Tucker, Senior Pastor of Concordia Lutheran Church. You are always welcome to join us. Concordia is located at the corner of 1604 and Hebner Road in the Vineyard, and you can find us on Facebook or online at concordia.cc. Join us at Concordia and experience the hope we have in Christ.
The tools you need to face the day, like traffic.
Because I need to get to and from work every day and know what to expect.
News Radio 1200, WOAI.
Welcome to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. I'm Keith Maley, and we're glad to be back with you and taking your calls live at 737-1200 or 1-800-383-WOAI. Again, that local number, 737-1200. If you would like to ask us a question, Morgan or I, we can answer that question for you, and we love to help people not make mistakes. 737-1200. If at any time you would like to log on and see some of our projects that Morgan does every week, goes out and photographs, video, and with Justin, our creative consultant, they're just really good at capturing some of the essence of what we're doing for folks and changing their lives. Go to kmbuilders.com and see the videos we do. See the finished home photos, the beautiful professional photos that we have, and then the before photos as well. That's harder to do. Which is harder, the before?
To find the before photos?
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to do better at the before stuff, right?
Yeah, but we're doing better.
Yeah, and so, because it's hard to find the same angle, especially when you changed it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, sometimes you take pictures of it the way you saw it when you were there, and that's not anything like the look of what's going to be there. So it's hard to sometimes to find an exact relationship photo. But either way, I mean, we're being honest about it, so you can you can see that this didn't look anything like it before, even if you can't figure out how we did it.
Yeah, I'd say most of the projects that we do, you can't, basically the same angle is not there anymore. You know,
Right.
think about the Brooklyn kitchen.
Yeah.
There's no same shot.
Well, it's really hard because some of the photos, like you'll take out a wall
Yeah.
and you'll stand back and take the photos of the new one. But before there was a wall in your way, you wouldn't have been able to stand in that position.
Exactly. So you just have to show the floor plan. I think that the floor plans really are able to show this is where we were at. Now there's nothing here.
That's right.
So I think that's
right.
cool.
Yeah, it's mainly just to showing that it's way different, and
Mhm.
sometimes we can show the exact
Yeah, sometimes we
angle, and that's always
I
more
think
fun.
the Jasons have the same angles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a caller. Let's go ahead and take, who is this? Briscoe?
Yeah, W.O. Briscoe.
How you doing? How can I help?
I'm good, sir. First time caller. I have a house that we had built back in 2010, and I have got started seeing cracks in my floor tile, and then a crack in a master bedroom wall. And the house is built on a mountain, if you're in San Antonio, out in Stone Oak area. I've got solid rock that actually had to be displaced to build the house. And what's a good indication of, hey, this have a settling problem versus you might have a foundation issue?
Yeah, I mean, it really has to do with measurements. It has to do with how the degree, a settling problem is a small amount. And I mean, although theoretically you can have a large settling issue because maybe something gave way, it's not typical, and especially where you're on a rock foundation. But settling is typically just a very small hairline crack, and then all houses settle. Some of the areas that a lot of people don't realize that a house will settle is actually the framing itself can settle over a period of time as the weight comes down on it, the roofs are put on, and sheetrock may have been installed. Sometimes sheetrock is installed actually before the final roof. But all of these things start to weigh down. A lot has to do with how hard a framer really goes and knocks everything tight, because they can continue to settle for a while. But if it's a foundation, you're seeing cracks in tile. Are they hairline cracks in those tiles?
Well, they started off as a hairline and stayed that way for quite a while, and then they've gotten a little bit wider over the last couple of years. And I've also noticed I'm hearing a whole lot of popping and cracking as the temperature, much more than I've ever had in any other house that I've owned. And so the crack in the wall in the master bedroom has gotten a little bit wider, but it's the only crack. There's not cracks in any other sheetrock anywhere else. I've got one place up on the ceiling that's gone down where the tape is at. It's cracked along the tape line. And 3 places where the tile has cracked. And again, they start off as pretty fine hairlines and now it's not a deep crevice, but it's a little bit wider than a hairline crack. So my 10-year, quote unquote, 10-year warranty is up this next year, and I wanted something I thought might be rather serious, bring a structural engineer out to take a look at it, see if there's really an issue that I might want to do whatever that warranty may do or may not do. We're not having a whole lot of good words about those 10-year warranties that you get. But anyway, so that's kind of the reason for the call. Is this something that warrants bringing somebody out at $700-800 a pop to come out and take a look at the house?
Yeah, I would start off with Larry from Avco to look at the foundation and get your baselines on your measurements on the foundation to see if there's significant movement. They may have supplied you with the original foundation measurements from the builder, the elevations of those, and that would be good to have as a.
Issues for not called the foundation, raising your foundation company, because you don't know what the originals were. How do you know something's sunk or raised if you don't know what the original? Anyway, all right. And what was the name of the company you just mentioned? You said Avco.
Yes, that's AVCO. Yeah. Yeah, Larry, at 737-3827.
I'll give them a call, sir. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, and I'd say that you start with that, and a lot of times you find in homes that there's a combination of reasons why sheetrock cracks. And sometimes it's poor installation, sometimes a little bit of movement in the foundation can exacerbate a poor sheetrock installation. You know, a lot of times when things don't move, poor sheetrock installation doesn't show up, but you get a little bit of movement and it shows up real bad. So you might have a combination of reasons, and hopefully none of them are so serious that you're gonna be dealing with this forever. But I would start with the foundation, and if you need an assessment from me, I'll come out and no charge and tell you what my expert opinion is on that as well. But thanks for calling the show, and hope it goes well for you. Let me know.
Okay, sir. Thank you again. Take care.
And we'd just like that, you can give us a call after we come back from our break. That number is 737-1200. And we definitely want to mention our sponsor before we go to our news break. A great sponsor it is. They're the ones we bought our Lexus from, and that is North Park Lexus at Dominion. And just a great staff over there. I know I didn't pay extra for that extra service because I price shopped, and their extra service is incredible. But that car, if you want the best SUV, I gotta say now, I'm convinced. But go ahead and give them a call or look them up. And that website address is what, Morgan?
It is northparklexus@dominion.com.
Yeah, shop there. And we'll be right back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show after the news break.
This is News Radio 1200 WOAI, San Antonio, an iHeart radio station.
We turn it off during the news anyway. Two referrals to Larry.
Mm-hmm.
He should be one of my sponsors. We gotta go to this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start taking it so you think you'd survive. I love those shows. They show what to do. I want to do that, Morgan. Whitewater rafting.
Why?
Lie back and let river take you. Should probably grab the boulder.
Yeah. Lie back and let it take you. That is so wrong.
You have to if you're in the middle.
Yeah, but you're trying to go
It
to
should be your
the
number one
boulder.
goal. Yeah. I wouldn't want to go on something too bad because, you know, it's just, you can't control it. But something light like that, like right there, that'd be a lot of fun, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Going down a like Guadalupe is probably, you know, kind of what you want to do. You don't just go down a river you don't know.
Well, they have it with guides and whoa.
Whoa, no, those guys are good.
They died.
No. They went in the water and came right back up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, flipped out. Look, North Park Lexus at Dominion.
When choosing your next new luxury car or SUV
Look, lie back
at
and
North
let
Park
river take
Lexus
you.
of San Antonio or
What?
Lexus at Dominion,
Yeah, you run into a boulder.
Respect for your time, and award-winning customer satisfaction. The Kaylee Auto Group, the North Park Blue Bonnet family of dealerships.
Right.
Interesting, they're advertising on our station. I've never heard that before.
Me either.
But they did it because.
They
see,
got
we
such
could have
good.
gone- We'd have owned those commercials. They'd be advertising.
Man, I just am really surprised that that's the correct answer.
Well, that was my first response. I thought of that one first.
I don't understand.
Because what's gonna happen when you're swimming to anything is you're gonna be taken sideways and then pounded on the side. You're not gonna make it.
So you
And
want
you
your
shouldn't hang on
feet
the side of
first.
and you shouldn't hang on the side of the boat because
I know the
because
boat. You're gonna get
knocked
scraped up.
around.
Yeah.
Look at that. Boom. That's all it took.
All of them.
Going in it wrong.
All of them. How scary.
I'm gonna take that for sure.
You can't record your shows on your iPad.
Oh, I like them on TV. How do you do that? How do you do it?
Mine has an app on my phone that I can record remotely if I forget to record something.
Oh,
You can
okay.
schedule it.
I wonder if that's a show.
Do not
that I
grab
could
onto
watch.
objects in the river.
So it'll tear you up.
You think it's
That's
on the
not
Weather
always true.
Channel? Because they're showing that?
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, it is the Weather Channel. It's the same one I take the other one on. SOS. There's one called SOS. That's the one I take now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought that was ours too.
How do we talk to him?
There's like a top TV button over there.
Hey, what happened to those other songs that we had planned? You put in some different music? Yeah, is that working?
Oh.
Yeah, is this better? Okay. Man, you have a voice like a radio star. So I was wondering about the songs. I noticed a different song came on. We didn't have the pre-programmed ones anymore.
Wanting these to be.
Is this it? Welcome back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. Did not recognize that song, so that's our comeback song now. I think we're getting introduced to some new stuff by Russell there. So we are going to take your calls live at 210-737-1200 if you'd like to call. And we were talking about how you do need advice, and we're also talking about how what I've noticed is that a lot of people aren't getting good advice. Now that probably doesn't surprise you that I would say that, but we're going to start off with our segment that Morgan handles for us. What's trending, Morgan?
Well, what's trending in 2019 is matte black kitchens. And that's even including the cabinets are matte black. We've seen black appliances, but these cabinets are gorgeous. And it just looks, it is a statement in a house.
Well, that's
I love
interesting
it.
you would say that because yesterday, in fact, I was in home and a lady had an interior designer and they had picked a flat black or almost flat black finish for the cabinets, and they're going to be repainted. And so if we get this project, we'll be repainting those cabinets, and the wood grain shows through, which gives it rather than just a slick finish,
Mm-hmm.
it shows the wood grain through. And I thought, out of all the paints that I've ever seen
Yeah.
on cabinets where the grain shows through, because I really don't like that look,
Yeah.
but I do like it on the black because it breaks it up.
So would that be technically one of those pickled
On
finishes?
No. It's just that the grain comes through because when you use a stain grade wood versus a paint grade wood,
Mm-hmm.
the stain grade wood has striations in it that show through, like on wood flooring. Like on wood
Yeah.
flooring,
Oh, okay.
the grain shows through, and some of them it's real slick, and you don't really see the texture of the grain.
Mhm.
And when I say the grain shows through, I don't mean the color. I mean the texture of the grain.
Oh, yeah. Then that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and I actually don't like most cabinets painted where the texture of the grain comes through, but when it's a black like this, I said, yeah, it's really sharp. It almost looks like a stain, but it's not, it's a paint.
Mhm.
And you probably could do a stain if the cabinets were fresh, but you probably would do a paint if you want to save money and do it after the cabinets have already been stained before. And I think it's going to look fantastic. And so that's interesting that's a growing trend.
Mm-hmm. Perfect timing.
Yeah, and we did also want to do, I guess we can do it in our next section. We can do the lane contractor that we missed earlier. We'll do that in the next section. But
Okay.
we are talking about how you need good advice. And even that, like how you paint your cabinets is something that people don't get advice on. They don't know what it's going to look like many times. Nobody told them that you can fill the grain, or if you don't fill the grain, it's going to look like this. Like I said, I don't like the way it looks most of the time.
Yeah.
Now, I don't tell people I won't do it for them, or, hey, I don't like the way what you're asking to. I just want to make sure they know what it's going to look like. Because if you're thinking you're going to have it look like another painted cabinetry that you would buy, and it really, that's your expectations, and then you paint your stain grade wood where the texture shows through, then you're going to be disappointed. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
not what you expected. But if you get a sample or you've seen it before and you know what you're buying, at least your expectations are straight.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people just don't tell you what you needed to know. And most of the time, I will say too, that when you're not told and what you get is you were not prepared for, you will not like it. And sometimes it's because they gave you the easiest route, and the easiest route is not the best looking route.
Yeah.
And so you were amazed at the price until you see the product, until you see what they did. And I'll give you a good example of that. It has to do, we talked about paint.
Mm-hmm.
If you just put paint over things and you didn't, somebody didn't tell you, you need to fix these walls if you're going to use that paint, then you're not going to be happy with the results.
Yeah.
Another great example is see, I don't like popcorn ceilings. Well, nobody likes popcorn ceilings anymore, but you might like them better than having wavy ceilings.
Yeah.
Which would you prefer, to have popcorn ceilings or ceilings that look like a roller coaster?
Yep.
Because that's what you get when people don't give you good advice. And people look at me like, what are you talking about? How could my flat ceilings look like they're crooked just because we took the popcorn off? And I know you've heard me talk about this before, but it's worth repeating. It's because when the popcorn is on there, it's a thick texture that breaks up light, and you cannot see the waves in your ceiling that, believe me, are there. Your ceilings are not straight enough, neither are mine, just to take the popcorn off and to shoot another texture over it and then paint it. I mean, that's 3 steps right there, but those 3 steps are not nearly enough. You don't want to just scrape the popcorn off, spray the new texture, and put the paint on it, or even a paint and a primer.
Mm-hmm.
So listen carefully, that is not good advice.
Oh, and everybody thinks it's an easy project.
Right, and so if you get someone who says, and you tell them you'd like your popcorn scraped off, you'd like an orange peel texture, and you'd like it painted, well, they'll do that for you because they're not going to give you the advice because they feel like they won't get the job if they tell you the truth. Now, some people don't even know, and that's even worse. I'm not talking about the homeowner, I'm talking about the contractors. They don't even know because they walk away, they don't see it, they don't pay any attention, and they do this every day, or they do it.
They're used to it.
Or that's what, that's the product they're used to getting, and people don't still pay them.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is whenever the light comes in later, on a good day where you've got good reflective light, what you're going to see is that it's wavy. And the reason you didn't see it before was because of the texture. Now, builders use that popcorn texture to save themselves several steps in the floating process. That floating is what makes your ceilings really straight. And if you only float it once and then put the popcorn texture, you save some money and it looks pretty good. It looks pretty straight. You may not like the popcorn, but it does look straight. So when you take that popcorn off, you've not only got to scrape it, you have to float the ceiling several times to get it really truly straight. And that is a little more expensive, but it's going to ensure that your ceilings do look straight. Once you put your orange peel or your very light roller texture on there, and if you go to a level 5 finish, you're gonna have to do it multiple times. And once again, it goes back to what we said about painting. Do not use a gloss paint on your ceilings. And then if all those steps are taken, you're gonna end up with a very flat ceiling. It's gonna look good, you're gonna love it, be very proud of it, but don't skip any of those steps that I just said, or you will regret it. And I can tell you, there are people every week that I see that regret it. And so that's just one example of needing good advice that people won't tell you because you told them what you wanted and they gave you what you wanted, and they just don't care enough to tell you that you're not gonna like it because they want the work and they wanna get in, they get out, and they do not care about whether your long-term satisfaction is there. So be careful, and we definitely want to help you out. If you need some good advice, call me out there at 680-5626. That's 680-KMCO if you'd like some advice, and I'll get some good advice for you on your heating and air conditioning system from Legacy Heating and AC Services. They do all of our remodeling, and they really, really do an excellent job and really great customer service, extremely friendly, courteous, like you wouldn't believe. They're at 830-608-8000, 830-608-8000, or look them up at legacyservicesac.com, and we'll be right back to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. Tile is the next one. I'll do this gloss paints, texture, tile. That's it. Those are my customers talking. Those two people from Hyundai.
Really?
Are my clients.
That's funny. They really like them?
Well, they bought a car there, and I guess they offered them a chance. She's an ex-FBI agent. It's the Owens. Doing Connie Owens. And I didn't know that commercial they used the actual voices until I heard them.
Yeah, I
And
would have thought it was actors, right?
Yeah, I thought it was just whatever voices they wanted, but they really are their voices.
Their what is it called? Their employees, that have good voices.
Well, I knew the voices and accents were different all the time, but then I heard them and associated their voices with their faces. I'm like, yep.
That's
the
funny.
real voice.
And you asked them?
No, I saw them on TV.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So
it
they
was
do
a
an
TV
audio commercial and they do a TV one too.
Oh,
and that's when I knew.
Oh.
I wouldn't have recognized the voices.
Yeah.
If I hadn't seen them on TV. You're on camera.
I still have to yawn.
Cover your mouth.
Oh, goodness.
You don't want to do that on camera. You looked them up to see if that's their real name?
Nope. Everybody keeps saying it.
No, only one said it actually. That's the same person. This one never uses that term.
QD.
Yeah, but just QD.
QD.
takes you off of Wi-Fi, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have that problem before?
Yeah.
It just keeps knocking you off?
It's called QD restoration.
How are you doing it? You've got a phone number on yours, phone?
I use their Wi-Fi, but I mean, their Wi-Fi has so many problems. It's on.
Is
Your
it working
Wi-Fi is
out
on.
for us?
Yeah, because.
Did you get a new camera on there?
Yeah, I'll tell you when we stop the live. They have it for us.
Cool.
No, look at how it looks in comparison to our old one.
That's good.
Not happy. And I don't know, because their Wi-Fi, for some reason, this camera's not working well. Super blurry.
Here's this review summary. We should have that on ours. We put that on their own. What would we do it?
I don't know what that is.
Welcome to the KM Builders Remodeling and Design Show. I'm Keith Maley, and Morgan's here with me.
Hello, everybody.
And we are dealing with the question of why it's so important to get good advice. And we have an example here that we're going to show you of someone who, and sometimes what you want is just a good advice for a contractor. And a lot of people do call us, like for restoration. They'll ask us, who would you recommend? And we give them referrals. But evidently somebody didn't get a good referral here, because this QD restoration has really made a mess of some things for some people. Mm-hmm. And things that are real obvious, like water standing after they wanted to get paid, and there's still water standing under the bed. They didn't even move the bed. And in both particular cases that were recorded, it appears that the supervision and the lack of experience of the employees was the big issue. That they had some young, very young, inexperienced people in there that were referred to as kids, mm-hmm. and extremely young. And not that that's an issue in of itself, but if they don't have good supervision or training, it's going to be a problem. And a couple of people have really, really been disappointed with them asking for money and not finishing the project and still leaving moisture in the area. So beware of QD restoration. Would you like to tell people to be careful? And these are just some examples of people who, one of them, the insurance paid twice, and another one got paid a couple $1,000 and didn't finish the job. So it's not good. Even if your insurance is covering it, it's just not good. It hurts everybody in the business. That's one reason we're so vocal and been on the radio is we want to set things straight, and we want people to do a good job and protect people from the bad ones out there. And so getting good advice, this was the theme of this subject of show. And I mentioned gloss paints, even something as simple as that can really make you regret it. I went into a house yesterday, in fact, and they're regretting the gloss paints because they didn't get good advice. I've went into many homes and seen them not get good advice on the acoustic texture being removed from their ceiling, what steps should have been taken to get it to the next level. And they regret it. They just have big regrets because they weren't told good advice. There's another one that I see a lot is when, all these tile stores now are out there, and a lot of them are discount tile houses, mm-hmm. And they sell, and I've seen it with wood and I've seen it with tile in both cases, where people are not getting good advice on the product, and they don't know what they're buying because it looks good. Yeah. You get a piece of wood, put it in your hand, it feels good, looks good, smooth, it's beautiful. Get a tile, it looks great, looks like real wood or linear tile, but what's happening is that people are blaming the installer. In some cases it is the installer problems. But I've been to several jobs where people have said, I'll never use this tile installer again. We would like, we want this redone, or we want another room done, we're not going to use them. Or I'm looking at a remodeling project and they're showing me some of the problems they had, and I look at it carefully, of course, and really can see what they're talking about. And then I sometimes I get down on my hands and knees and look at it more closely, and in several cases I've told them this was not your tile setter's problem. It was not his fault that this has turned out this way. Or it's not the wood installer's problem. This is a product problem.
What are the problems?
Well, like in wood floors, you get cabin grade. They don't tell you at some of these liquidators and places like that, they don't tell you that it's cabin grade. Which means that it's not as closely monitored in the mills. So it's like it's like one of the ones that didn't make the call, and they sell that way cheaper. And the average person can't tell the difference until it's installed. Many times, you see like little gaps in the floor, and you think the installer did it, but if you look at it and I took out a tape and measured and showed them, look, this one is this much. Look carefully, it's a little different here, and this one's a little different. They're not the same widths. So you're gonna get little gaps in your flooring, and it'll still hold up, it'll still last. But as long as the other product would have lasted of the better quality. But you're not gonna like the look, and then dirt's gonna trap in it and so forth. You probably wanna rip it out. Very shortly after you've installed it, you're not gonna be happy with it. And the same is true of tile. A lot of times the lesser expensive tiles are crooked, or they're not the same width, or they have humps in them, and then when you try to put the hump next to a place where it's starting, they cannot match up. And you're gonna have bigger grout joints, and you don't want that on a wood look tile. So be very careful of long tiles and the installation processes. They use what's called a heavy format tile thin set, and a lot of installers won't even do that. But if you'd like more advice, give us a call at 680-5626. If you want some advice on pest control, use Truly Nolan Pest Control at trulynolan.com. They're doing a great job for me, and they'll do it for you. But look us up at kmbuilders.com, and you will find out a lot more about where you can get transparent, really good advice. We will come out and see you. I'd love to come out and meet you. Just give me a call at 680-5626. That's 680-KMCO. And remember, you could have someone else remodel your home, but then you'd have to live in it.
The preceding